Hello? 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 1 2 1 2. That's better. For some odd reason, I couldn't actually see the volume thing going up and down, so I didn't think the sound was coming through. But it seems it is, and I'm just being odd. So, hello, Nation here. I'm going to be painting what looks like a bed of flowers right now. These are actually all discs of zinc for all the crazy people. This is using the color shift stuff from Green Stuff World. So, if I can get you to focus. Go on, focus. You know you want to. There we are. Yeah, look how trippy that is. Yeah, weird. So we're painting some weird bird, beastmen, Zangoros. Might do some basing because I got all kinds of inspired because I watched Luke's how to do water effects video and I was just like, oh, gonna have to do lots of basing now because every time I watch those, I'm like, yeah, that looks like a lot of fun. So may do that. Yeah, we got all these lovely things to do, and I've been having a think about 40k. So, and this stemmed off the back of Chapter Master Valrak's video. Wow, that stream looks god awful. How odd is that? Let's just see. Is my internet rubbish? Settings. Auto HD. Yes. How odd. That's coming through very weird on my PC. Like, really odd. Maybe my internet's rubbish. How odd. Well, I hope it doesn't last like that forever, because that's gonna suck. We'll see. This is more about chatting as well, anyway. So, yeah. If the picture's rubbish, just watch. Sorry, not watch. Listen, though. Yeah, and I shall tell you a couple of things which I've been thinking about. So I was watching Chapter Master Valrak's video. One of the things was about the Imperial Guard, and a lot of the stuff is going out of stock. But it's not put down as last chance to buy. So I'm not overly worried. I think it's just, yeah, it's just going to be a thing. Yeah, I know, Jet Set Jimbo. It's weird. I don't know what's going on. If it continues like this for the next 5 minutes, we'll just give up. I think maybe YouTube's having one of its funny 5 minutes, like it did with Sam. If it gets better, let me know. Yeah. I mean, the picture looks clearer now that I'm looking at the video on YouTube. Kind of relying on you guys to tell me though, but thank you for letting me know. Let me know if it, as I said, give it 5 minutes. If it carries on being rubbish, yeah, we'll sort out. Oh, he says better now. Okay, cool. Talking about it, must have sorted it. So, okay, right. So, hopefully, you can actually see what I'm doing now. So yeah, I was watching Chapter Master Valrak's video about the Imperial Guard and how they're going like being sold out, and people think it's the end of an era. They think what's going on with it. And I had a couple of theories running through my head regarding that, because I had a thought. I was like, well, maybe this coincides with Forge World clearing out their stuff, because it might well be that Forge World are going to take over production. Jojo Man, hello, good sir. How are you this evening? Loving your night, by the way. Loving it. So yeah, the thought was, I thought, well, since they are probably either going to resin, they probably don't want to do them in metal anymore. It may well be, since Forge World have just gotten rid of all the Horus Heresy upgrade parts to make room for stuff, maybe they are taking on the Imperial Guard. I've just seen Solo. Oh, nice. Any good? I've had a lot of people say it's awesome, and one person say it was rubbish. So, I literally, honestly, I don't really know what to make of critics rating films anymore, because I'm just like, everyone's just completely weird. Jojo loves it. Jojo loves it. So it must be good. I'm hoping to go see it. I am torn between seeing Jurassic Park, though, because I have a very soft spot in my heart for Jurassic Park. It's like nostalgic kid stuff. So, yeah. So, but yes. So I had a thought process. Maybe Forge World are taking over production of the Imperial Guard. And that's why they need to make room for stuff, because they need to make a lot of them. Because I think they make them in resin. I'm not sure if they still make them in metal. I don't know, so don't quote me on that. They may well be getting rid of them. That is a possibility. We're not a fan of The Last Jedi then, Jojo Man. So yeah, possibly Forge World is taking over production of the Imperial Guard. I'm sure there'll be rumors flying around, because this is just a thought I was having. Maybe this is the case, that Forge World are taking over the areas which are not so well looked after, or not well looked after, more I don't know. Maybe not so well purchased. So, and I think Vostroyans, Steel Legion, Talon Desert Raiders, or whatever it is, Valhalla Ice Warriors, I think they might be in a minority of sales, because to pick them up, you got to spend a lot of money. A bit like Death Corps of Krieg. It's an Imperial Guard army. It'd be amazing, but it takes a lot of money to pull that off. So, yeah. So I was like, okay, right. And this led me down another thought process. So, coming up soon, we've got Orcs and Space Wolves. Jojo, I'm sure you're going to be happy about both. And then we got Genestealer Cult. So I was like, cool. Then what? And this left me with a question and a thought process. And this is what I was going to talk about for the future of 40k. So GW have been amazingly good at getting these codecs out in realistically a very short space of time. If you want to think about the entirety, and considering they released Custodies as well on their own codex, yeah, it's pretty phenomenal going, to be honest with you. So releasing that many in a year. Now, I only know of one army, which is due a codex, which would not get one until 2019, and that's Sisters of Battle, because they're working on them. So that's fair enough. So Sisters of Battle. So Genestealer Cult, Orc, Space Wolves. And I believe that is all the 40k armies. They all have a codex. So what's next? And I think there's a bit of a gap in time where probably the last codex the Genius Stealer Cult Codex will come out, and then it will be Christmas or it will be New Year, and right, what happens next? Where do we go from there? Do we? I mean, are they going to re-release the armies again? I was trying to think about what the logical steps would be, and I come to a couple of conclusions. One of them would be to upgrade the Primaris Marines. Yes, there's angles, Mark. Yeah, the football hooligan chant, which just goes perfectly with orcs. So yes, that would be step one. I think would probably be, because they're pretty good at listening to feedback, and the Primaris Marines possibly are not selling as well because as an army on their own, they're not absolutely fantastic. You do need elements of the Space Marine army to be really pad them out and make them really versatile. On their Todd with all their own stuff, yeah, not so much. I saw a battle report with old Space Marines versus new Space Marines. The guys running new Space Marines still had to take a load of old Space Marine stuff to be able to make it work and actually viable. So it was stuff like a Dreadnought, Storm Raven, etc. So it otherwise he was woefully outgunned, outmaneuvered, out everything. So it kind of leans more towards that, in my opinion. It would probably be right. We got to go back to the Primaris. So the Primaris, I would say, would be high on the hit list for the next thing. But you now have the problem. You've released everyone's codex within a year. That's fine. Are you going to release another codex? Or are we going to see something new? So when I say new, I mean something that's not necessarily new, but has not had its own codex before. Or something like Black Templars. Maybe they will get their own codex again. Maybe. With Primaris Marines, because they had their own codex before, and then it went away. I wouldn't be surprised if something like White Scars happened. Now, if we're talking about release schedules and stuff like that as well, there is an element of, I understand that Titanicus is on its way, so they're probably going to drop that, and that will take up a vast amount of time. Age of Sigmar 2.0 is on its way, so they can fill the gap with a lot of Age of Sigmar, a lot of Adeptus Titanicus, Blood Bowl, Necromunda. They can fill the void, but I don't know for how long. Maybe release chapter approved with nice data sheets and White Dwarf like good. Yeah, maybe. They release some extras on that. I wouldn't be surprised though, because what was it once when Imperial Knights had a codex and a year later they had a new codex? So yeah. Now, here's another thing JoJo's mentioned. So it would be nice to maybe see a new race, maybe an old race from the Horus Heresy that comes back and wants revenge on Imperial Mankind. Yes, this is also true. But I'm thinking along the lines of a race which is there, which is used, but not used. So let me explain that. For example, Kroot. Could you imagine Kroot having their own codex and a whole bunch of new miniatures? Harud, yeah, that would be interesting. I'm still unsure what the Harud look like. Loads of people show me loads of different images, so I'm not really sure. So that might be a thing. Yeah, so we might, or we've got the Vespids, whether they'll do anything with that. We've got a lot of things that I think that they could potentially drop into just to give everyone a breathing space to get used to their codexes. I mean, granted, Space Marines. I mean, people say Space Marines are rubbish, but my friend runs Space Marine bikes with a guy apparently holding so you got a Storm Bolter and a normal bolt, his bike bolter on there. So he's effectively got 2 Storm Bolters on one bike. Crew did have their own decks for a very short time. Yeah, I remember it was very small, sort of small rules, but I'm thinking, the Crew Riders and stuff like that, like the Crew Tox, Crew Hounds, but the Great Narlocks and stuff like that, I think you could do something very cool with that. Now, however, there's another route they could take, and this could go down the lines of Chaos. So, Chaos being the endless bounty that is always given, you can pull out some of the major legions, i.e. World Eaters, Emperor's Children, and give them their own codex. No one would complain. Because if you're going to give them a codex, guess what? If World Eaters get a codex, I guarantee you a certain Mr. Angry Ron is going to show up in model format. And I'm pretty sure no one is going to argue with that. And the same would be said for Emperor's Children. If that was to happen, then I'm pretty sure Fulgrim would show up. And they can, luckily, because of the Horus Heresy, when they get stuck in a pinch, just tap in to these 30k legions and bring their own codex out and bring a Primarch, and ba-da, brand new release. Still Chaos, but it's a whole new faction. Iron Warriors, Thousand Sons that got theirs. You could do Night Lords, Alpha Legion, Word Bearers, all of them. But the question is, will they? Will they dip back into the old Chaos pot just to make their fill a void? I say fill a void very lightly, and I make it sound worse than it is, because, to be fair, if a World Eaters release came out and Angron came out, I would have a very hard time. I mean, I had a hard time with Mortarion. I'm like, oh, I want to do it, but yeah, it's one of those old ones. So I'm not sure. Oh, I have a squeaky chair. I'm trying to adjust my seat so I can not screw my back up so much. So this is the thought: is where do they go to next? Where's the aim? And I think that depends a little bit on the storyline of how they're going to direct it. Now, I know every single Legion army in 40k can be brought into whatever campaign they run. Every single one of them will have a part to play. But there's usually a main protagonist and a main sort of arch enemy, if you will, the main 2 combatants in it. And those will be the ones that get the most focus. So the question is, where do we think that will take us? Do we think that will end up being Chaos again? Because the Chaos thing gets a bit dull after a while. It's a bit like, here we go, Chaos again. Chaos always winning. Or Orcs. Orcs would be a good one. I'm really hoping Orcs get a big focus, and I hope they become the next big threat, because that would be crazy to see Orcs on the rise. I'm hoping they do. I don't know if they will. Maybe. It'd be kind of seeing Gazgo on this whole Prime Orc thing which they're talking about. I'm hoping. I'm not 100% certain they will, because GW have a very good way of misleading and changing direction. Yeah, JoJo's just put a load of different ones. So like the Ambles, Tyrellian Dog Soldiers, Zotes, Zygors. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Whether or not they do that, a squat release, that would be really interesting. That would be a lot of people would go nuts over that. But because a lot of people would go nuts over that, I think a lot of people would go invest in it. And the thing is, I think a lot with GW sales is how much can they make from the initial hit. The initial hit is the interesting point, I think, for them. So I'd probably, if I took a stab about how the business works for GW, when they do a release, they get a massive input of sales. They go down and people will go, oh, shiny, shiny, shiny. Question is that sustainable? Yeah. I think it'd probably trickle off quite quickly. And then it will just become the steady stream of buying stuff that people do when they're like, oh, I'm going to do this army now. But you won't get that initial impact. Raven Delve Tacticas in the house, hello. So I would put a bet that GW have to kind of work it out in their heads and go, right, what's going to make us the money off the initial hit? And what is going to also be sustainable? So what is intriguing? And I think that a lot of that comes down to rules as well, because if the rules work, for example, these Zangor Skyfires, looked at the rules for them, and I'm like, ooh, they're quite handy. So I picked a load of them up. And if people do that, rules do sell models. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of aftermarket reselling, though. So a lot of people will be selling on Facebook or eBay, etc., etc. And GW doesn't see that money, but someone has bought that off the initial impact. So, yeah. The question is, where are they going to take 40k next? Where's the thing? So Chaos have done their thing, and this is like Age of Sigmar as well. Chaos have done their thing. It's no longer Chaos's turn; it's Death's turn, which is a lot more scary prospect if you think about it. Yeah, if you think about Death being a scary over Chaos, Death is the finality of it. It's the end point. Chaos is mad corruption, and you might die, but when you die, you go to Death anyway. So that's just like, I like that element of bringing in Death as the major player, the major bad guy in it, because it's kind of like, how do you tackle Death? I mean, that's a statement in its own right for real life. You're like, oh, that makes you think a bit. But I think that was a good move to have someone else, not Chaos, being the main arch enemy, more bad guy, basically. Raven, yes, I was talking about the old guard models. This is basically how we led to the chat, because I don't believe they're being removed. I think probably Forge World might take over production of them. But the thought process is if they are getting removed, what replaces them and what comes next? So, and this could be another way they go. If they're all being gone from the website, I don't think they are. I think that's just a supply thing or a move over to another part of the system, that they may decide to go back and look at guard and go, right, let's give each guard thing their codex, or as I said, Space Marine chapters, we'll give them their codex and work it like that. It'll be interesting to see. I would like to see, to be honest with you, if I'm going to think, Questoris Traitoris, so Renegade Knights Codex. I think that would be really cool. So, because the new Knights Codex, I don't think really equates for Renegades. So, 8th edition Soul Primaris. Yep. They need to release squats soon, since they leave it too late. Everyone who remembers them will be too old or dead. Yeah, this is possibly true, Jojo. I mean, I'm 34 now, and a lot of people that I mean, I never really played squats, but I do remember them. But yeah. So Jojo thinks they're going to be resculpted. That's possibly true. Yes, you're true, Raven Dove. Guard do already have their unique traits. So that's, yeah. What I'm thinking is they get their own codex. So they get a whole lot more stuff to go with it. Logically, it probably wouldn't make any sense. It would probably make more sense for someone like the Crew or something like that to get their own codex, because I don't really think they got a lot of love in the Tau codex. And it is a potential army that can be pulled out of the bag to run. No, they may come up with a completely new race, in which they do. That would be amazing. Likelihood of that? Not sure. Maybe. Maybe not. Don't know. Sorry, just necking my teeth so we can carry on painting. So, I'm also trying to think of whether or not to do more work on these. It's like a weird flower petal. I don't know if to put a wash on them. That probably would make sense. But what kind of wash should I put? Oh. Or do we do some gold? Do we do some gold? Gold on discs. Not liking that idea. I'm thinking a let's go with a blue wash. Let's see what we can do with this. So, yeah. So the question is, what do we do next? Or where does Games Workshop take us next? The probably most likely ones I would have thought would either be Chaos Factions. Leave it. Yeah, fair enough. Would be Chaos Factions like World Eaters, Emperor's Children, something like that, so you can start throwing in more Chaos Primarchs. The question is, what about Loyalist Primarchs? How about, because I know White Scars have their own chapter tactics, but if you were to bring White Scars in with their own codex and say, for example, jet bikes, I think they might sell really well. Like, really well. Mainly because jet bikes. And more than likely would probably be Primaris as well. So, yeah, that would be an interesting affair if they did that. Which would be quite cool, because I got a soft spot for White Scars. They're much cooler than it seems, and they get a lot of credit for. And it's really odd if you play Space Marines. I don't know anyone that hasn't quite yet gone, I know, I'm going to use White Scars tactics, because Space Marine bikes, yeah, they're really cool. 2 ticks. Nope, not needed. I thought I was needed, but I was not. Oh, actually, I tell you what, we could do an all-over wash with this. That would work. Do 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 do. So yeah, it's this really odd limbo state where I'm kind of sat there going, I wonder how they're going to take this next step, because we don't have that much longer left till all the codexes are out. And what comes next? What do we do? Where do we start recycling the codexes again? Or do we start getting new stuff? It'll be a very interesting state of affairs to see what they pull out of the bag. I think we've got some interesting times ahead. Underdog Paintings in the house. Hello. Underdog Painting is also another person which finishes commissions much quicker than I do, actually, to be honest with you, but paints probably just as much as I do. So if you ever need a commission done, go have a chat. I'm sure he can hook you up. But yeah, so where do we go? Where do we get to next? As I said, I would like to see Questor Traitoris, or basically Renegade Knights Codex. That would be quite cool. And see stuff like Demon Engines rocking around. I think that would be a very interesting thing to see indeed. I think Primaris will get a revamp or like a re-hit. Because they're just lacking in flavor at the moment, and it's the same thing everyone says. There's like there's just not that much to them. Like you can't get Primaris with melter guns. You can't get Primaris with heavy bolters. You can't get Primaris with most of the weapons that the Space Marines arsenal have, which is bonkers. To be honest, it's a bit like, right, so the smaller guys have better guns? I know the standard bolt rifle is better than the standard bolter, but none of them have melter guns. None of them have grav guns. None of them have any of that, which is really weird. You'd think, you know what, these massive dudes that are just twice as strong, twice as tough, why don't we give them some of the good guns and see what happens? Maybe. Give them some of the cool weapons. Maybe. So I wouldn't be surprised if Primaris get a revamp after that. Because, yeah, it just makes more sense to me, to be honest with you. After that, I think maybe Sister Battle will probably be ready to rock and roll. So that'll be an interesting state of affairs. I'm wondering if they'll sell well. I really am wondering if the Sisters of Battle will sell well or not. I know people have been asking for them for donkey's years, but are enough people going to drop 200-300 quid just to play Sisters? I don't know. And anyone in the chat, is anyone actually seriously interested in when Sisters of Battle come out, starting a Sisters of Battle force? And be honest with yourselves. If you are, fair enough. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're going to be an amazing army. And if you collected them before, fair enough. All power to you. I'm just hoping. I'm hoping the hype will be enough that it won't be a disappointment at the last hurdle from everyone going, yeah, but chaos, they're kind of cool. Standard should have got bolt rifles. Yeah, it'd be quite funny seeing a standard Space Marine having bolt rifle and it being like near the size of their body. It's like kind of like a 5-year-old firing a shotgun. Just see it go blasting off his own feet or something like that. It'd be quite funny. And I said, like the big dudes are twice as strong. I'm not actually sure if that's correct. I'm not sure if because stat-wise, they're not. Stat-wise, they're the same strength. So it makes me wonder, are the smaller Space Marines, who are still 8 to 9 feet tall, in armor, that is, are they just as strong, but they're just smaller? Is it like the Primaris are just lanky buggers? Don't know. It's an interesting thought. Yeah, not sure. Who's messaging me? Oh, nice. Got the guy from Lion Tower Miniatures messaging me. He's been doing some painting. It's looking very cool. Hopefully I will. He's just started on its alpha, and which is this bad boy here. Jojo, I thought you'd especially like this one. Oh, come on, focus. You'll love this Kickstarter when it comes out, Jojo. So, werewolves versus Vikings versus Dragon Samurai and sort of kingly empire people. So when that hits, I'm all over that. All over that. That I'm going to be having a lot of fun. It's one of the few times I've seen just the models and I've been interested in playtesting the game. Just from the model standpoint. And because it's such a new company, it's nice that you can talk to the guys that create it and get their feeling and their impact and their inspiration and stuff like that. And I know GW are becoming more open like that, so you can talk to the people that do that. But it's not quite the same when you can talk to them on a regular basis about what they're working on. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Baz is planning on doing AOS when it comes out, but doing the Stormcast like Black Templars. Yeah, that's a cool color scheme. I like that thought. Making them. This was the thing when Age of Sigmar first came out, we got told that Order are going to have these big knights and stuff like that. I had these big Crusader images in my head. When the Stormcast came out and they're all gold, I was a bit like, huh, not quite what I expected. So it was a bit, yeah. But some people started coming out with paint schemes for them, which were just like, wow, they look so much better not in gold. So, yeah, that's definitely, I would not go with gold with Stormcast. My guys are going to be marble green with red samurai plating on them. See if I can find one in a minute. When I got a big army. I need to get round to and doing. But problem is, I play a lot of 40k at the moment, and I play it with some good old friends of mine. So it's kind of one of those things. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to get cracking with my Stormcast, but I've got a game on Friday, and I really want to play my game. So that's kind of it, really. I will get around to them. I'm determined to do stuff uh, with that. As hopefully, I was speaking to Luke before Luke from Luke's APS before the show, and got some products I want to test out that I got from Geek Gaming on some models, which I'm hoping will prove some very cool results. So if you haven't seen it, Luke did a video today on how to do water bases. So doing a base that's got water on it, and the results just like, oh, well, now I just want to do water bases. So I commented on it, and he started messaging me about all the stuff he was working on. I was like, oh, there's so much more. So I'm all kind of excited about doing bases again soon. So yeah, I gotta get to work on that. That's soonish. But yeah. So where do we end up? Where do we go to after all the next three codexes are out? What's next on the horizon? Is it going to be a re-release of some of the codecs we've already had? Is it going to be a new force? Is it going to be a force we already know of but doesn't have its own codex? One thing, well, a bit on the wish list for me, would be to bring the 30k Mechanicum into the 40k Mechanicus. That would be cool. Okay. So also as well, if you want to pre-order I'm guessing, Bazza, this is the box set for the AOS. If you want to pre-order it for a lot cheaper, Bazza has a link for ordering it. So yes, I may well order it because it does look interesting. I'm actually quite tempted with the night one. We'll see what that ends up being like. Oh wow, these are going weird. How odd. Ooh, drifting. What an interesting. Yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting time of what happens next. I think we've got some very cool things on the horizon, and as I said, I'm just intrigued to see what does happen next, because surely we've got 3 codexes left. There's got to be a clue of what comes after that. Makes me think indeed. What would you guys like to see? What is there a particular favorite army you would like to see come back in that doesn't have a codex or has been wiped out? Apart from squats, we all know about squats. Is there a particular type you would like? Or is there an army which has a codex that you think, yeah, they could probably do with an update already, even though it's only been a year? Now I'm painting some swirly vortex things. How interesting. How interesting indeed. So, also as well, as a bit of shameless plugging, we should be doing Chilling Wargamers tomorrow night, hopefully, around 8 o'clock. Sorry, I was looking at Jojo's comment saying about the squat clock is broken. You can't turn the hands back anymore. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Me and Spud, we're just going to be doing a hangout. We haven't got a guest. We've got a few lined up, hopefully in the near future. I'm hoping to get Luke back on. There's a guy who does some cool-looking sort of samurai animal miniatures, which hopefully I will get a chance to. We get a chance to get him on the show and have a chat with him. He's from Germany, I believe. And what else we got? We got a few other things coming along here and there. ChillCon is actually starting to rapidly approach. Because we're in June now. It'll be July. Then it'll be August. And then it'll be September. So ChillCon is a lot sooner than you think. And yeah, it'll be interesting. If you, to give you a bit of a sneak peek, I and a few other painters have been Jet Set Jimbo, Underdog Painting, Jet Set Jimbo's in the link. Is interested in the link. Sorry, in the link. So you guys sort that out. I don't know if it works if it's chat with links and stuff like that. So ChillCon, yes. There's me, Moggy, and a couple other painters have been asked to do some live demo / tutorials on painting for people. So there'll be airbrush work. I'll probably go through doing lightning as a technique, how to do it, what steps to take. Moggy will be doing his techniques, and I'm sure there's some other people. Apparently, it's going to be reminiscent of Warhammer Fest, so there's going to be monitors and stuff like that, so you can see what's happening as well. Which will be interesting. I've never done a tutorial live in front of people before, so that's going to be a really interesting state of affairs. We shall see how that works. I'm sure some other people have been asked on how to do stuff. I can't remember who, because I don't think I've been told. If anyone else has that watching this back later, put it in the comments so that other people can come along and watch the tutorials at ChillCon. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. I have no idea if anyone's going to be interested in it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm half terrified, to be honest with you, of doing that. And I'm like, oh, right. Okay, let's see if I can screw up majorly in front of loads of people live. So, but we'll see. We'll see if that happens. What else we got going on? So, hopefully the boys from Liontown Miniatures, there's hopefully a interesting model on its way. Hopefully. And we'll get that painted up soon. I'm going to try and get it ready for their Kickstarter in October. In fact, I'd like to get all of these minis ready by October. I'm hoping I can get more of the RPG stuff as well in the near future. What else? What else is happening? So I am. What am I doing? Doing Children Wargamers tomorrow with Spud. Going out to see my friend, helping him do some casting for his model range on Thursday. Because yes, I've learned how to cast myself. Nurgling's in the house. Hello, Nurgling. Yes, that's a lot of discs each. It was intentional. So yes, I've learned how to do casting as well. I'm being all grown up. I'm learning how to work the industry. What else is happening? I'm having a game on Friday. This is why all these discs are out, because they're getting ready for a game. Because these things are really quite good. So I'm hoping this is going to be a lot of fun. Hoping. Gonna have to. Let's see if this works. I'm probably gonna use super glue for this. Yeah, let's use super glue. Super glue. And some activator. So we do that. Something like that. I've just taken half the paint off because activator makes stuff sticky. So, Graham Riggs in the house. Hello, Graham. Everyone's showing up now. Oh, Jojo, have you been stomping people with knights? Have you been bashing them? Jojo, you know better than that. Can't go around stomping squishy humans with giant robots. It's just not fair on them. And fair play, dude. Smash them. Yeah, I was very tempted with the new knights, especially Renegade, because the fact that you get the Mechanicus scenery as well in it, I was just like, oh, that's a much better price. It was a good price before. It's even a better price now. Right. We're going to have to avoid doing the bases with these, so because the bases take a little while to kind of. I like saying bake or cook, but yeah, they work a little bit differently. I'll try. I will one day do a tutorial on how to do the bases for the Thousand Suns and stuff like that. It's just it takes a while, and I always forget to keep the footage at the right point in time. So, what I think we can do. I didn't really want to stick these guys to the bases, but I don't think I'm going to have a choice. But if I do it just with a little bit of super glue, I can do one. Yeah, like 4 Hellhounds, 3 Chimeras, all Flamers. Also has like 7 Las Cannon, heavy weapon squads. Ooh. There's some pretty nasty stratagems Guard can throw out. I just yet to see a Guard player really fully utilize it yet. I don't know. How are you finding 8th edition, Jojo? Are you getting used to it now? A lot easier, or after the problem is going back to 7th edition just seems so clunky to me now. So 8th edition just seems like the way it needs to go. Nope, didn't lose that. Right. We're going to try and get these all stuck down. Yeah, it does. It does flow It does flow a lot easier now. With 8th edition, there's less looking up rules. I know a lot of people like get annoyed with the universal rule thing, but the problem is if you've got universal rules, they can be ambiguous with other rules. So if other rules are interacting with them, they can be a bit, yeah, could we take it this way, could take it that way, not sure. Whereas if it's just on the data card, then you're like, that's the rule, that's how it works. Which does make it a lot more fluid. Right, okay, so let's get some Zangles and stuff on their bases. Alright, so that's the shaman. Let's do him. So he sits like that. For some reason or another, I think I'm missing part of his foot. Oh, wait. Oh. I was trying to glue something, which I'm not entirely sure what it is, to something which was not his foot. Right. Okie dokie. Right. So, got one, like so. One Zangor shaman. No, 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 no. So we need to get. I need to get 2 shamans, preferably 3, and 9 Zangors on their discs. So, what we shall do is not glue the hole. Do that. Do that. And then do that. Something like that. That work. Yeah, no. Right. Okay. That's not working. Damn it. Right, more glue. Stay. Ta-da. No! Hmm. 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 Ta-da. Right. Please don't you be as complicated as that one. I don't think you will be. Please don't be complicated. Please don't be complicated. I don't want it to be complicated. Please don't be complicated. Foot, peg, in hole. Foot, down. Stay. No. Mm, no, that's not sticking. Alright, okay. Bit more glue. And good old faithful activate all. There we go. Much better. Solid. Solid as a rook. Mon Warrior. Hello. The fail whale has arrived. No. Yeah. Yep. So I've got to try because this is part of the army on. So I'm doing 2,000 points. I'll try and reel off the list which I'm taking if I can remember all. So we have for HQ. And this is a brigade detachment as well. So this is the 12 command points plus 3 other for Battleforge list. So I'm going for the full whole hog here with Thousand Suns. I'm doing Barryman, or Barryman, as me and my friends like to call him, Barry. On a Discus Inch, that is. And then we're going to have 2 Exalted Sorcerers on Discus Inch as well. Then 4 troops, we're going to have 4 squads of 10 cultists. Did I do that or did I change it back to 5? I'll have to check. It's either 5 squads of 10 cultists or. I thought it was 4. I thought it was 4 squads of 10 cultists, a squad of 5 rubrics with a rhino transport, 15 rubrics in another unit, 5 Scarab Cult Terminators with a Soul Reaper cannon, 2 Zangor Shamans, 3 squads of 3 Zangors with the Great Bows, which are these bad boys. And 3 Predators, 2 with Twin Link las cannon and side sponsor las cannons, and 1 with also cannon and heavy bolters. That fills up all of the slots in a brigade detachment. So if it's working out correctly now, the brigade detachment, I believe, gives me 12 points on top of the 3 I get for having Battleforged. So, yeah, 15 command points, if I'm right. I got to double check the rules on that because it's part of the FAQ. But I've been using Battlescribe now, and I hate the fact that I'm using it, but it is a lot easier writing an army list now using Battlescribe. So begrudgingly, I'm using it because it's much easier to write it, and it's updating and telling me the points costing and updating the rules for me, so I don't have to flick backwards and forwards through a book. I'm just hoping it's right, but it does seem right because if you've got the battalion, yeah, well, you get the 5 command points. This is now saying you get 12, so that would imply that you get 3 as well for having Battleforged, which means if I've got 15 command points, that's nuts. That is nuts indeed. So you can easily use up a set. Use one command point. Sorry, I've used 2 command points to get 2 more artifacts. Sorry, 3 more command points to get 2 more artifacts. So one of the sorcerers has Helm of the Third Eye, which is quite a funny saying in its own right. And the other one's got the Dark Matter Crystal. Now, the Dark Matter Crystal is very situational, but it is potentially devastating. But the idea is the Predators can do kill shot. So, and this is another thing, and whether or not any of you guys play Space Marines, anyone in the chat plays Space Marines, there's a stratagem called kill shot, which basically says if you've got 3 Predators within 6 inches, or you can use a stratagem and they get +1 to wound. Which is nuts. But the way it's worded and the way it's written, because the apostrophe is not in the right place, the way it's actually written is that all 3 Predators get +1 to wound. Which is really bonkers. Because if you imagine 3 Predators, that's 8 las cannon shots with +1 to wound. So most vehicles they're wounding on 3s anyway, so you get +1 to wound. They're all wounding on 2s. With AP -3 and D6 damage each. That's crazy. That's a crazy, crazy stratagem. But I'm guessing you've got to have 3 Predators there to do it. So, is it that nuts? Don't know. Don't know. But, so, that's nuts, having 3 Predators there. So that's my backline that's going to be just tearing apart anything I point at. Then, having Shamans rock around with these dudes. So Shamans give these guys +1 to hit. They're already shooting on 3+, so now shooting on 2+ if they're within 6 inches. And if I put a Sorcerer, Exalted Sorcerer, on a Discus Inch nearby as well, they will be re-rolling 1s to hit. So that's 2s re-rolling 1s, shooting with all these bows. All the bows are Strength 5, -1 AP, Assault 2. So I could potentially advance them as well. Take a -1 to hit, re-rolling 1s, which starts making them even more crazy. And they've also got a rule: if they rolled a hit with a 6, you don't have to roll a wound, it just automatically wounds. You still get saved, but it automatically wounds. And they're 17 points a model, which is just bonkers cheap for what these guys do. There's a weird little fish thing at the bottom of these. Yeah. Yeah, you can stealth. Weird little fish thing. So how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I need 2 more. And then we can get some sorcerers on them. So yeah. So that's the strategy. Well, the strategy is have the Terminators in reserve, pay a command point to get the 15 rubrics in reserve, have the 5 squad of rubrics in a Rhino, I can remember what I've taken, have a load of flak, which is basically all the cultists hanging around capturing objectives or doing whatever. I mean, they're going to die. Of course they're going to die. They're cultists. They always die. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then have these guys whizzing up with an exalted sorcerer in the back. Well, whizzing up with an exalted sorcerer and the shamans and all of these guys. So it's just buff galore. All the shamans can throw out psychic power as well. And if needs be, they can just do smite. And because they'd be part of the Brotherhood of Psychers, then no penalty to smite. Because a lot of people get annoyed, but Thousand Suns don't get affected by it, which is awesome. So you just smite spam the whole lot, and then shoot them all with all these bows. And then the predators at the back just tear apart anything they want to. And that's the tactic. I don't really have any other tactics. Now, the only problem is I may have issues with flyers, land raiders. To be fair, I think the predators would take out a land raider. I think so. Not sure. Hopefully. Hopefully would do. It's getting there. It's getting there. And then we'll get them on their bases. And then I don't know what we'll do next. Put that there for in. Okay, alright, so no. Right, cool. So we got those bits done. Where's the lid for that gone? Right. Then delve into the box. Nope, 32s. Nope, big ones. These are 40s, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know if I need more than that. We shall see. And then we can look at these in all their glory. All their glory. Is that the right one? I'm not sure if I just sprayed it with watered down isopropanol. I think that's activator. That seems to have worked. So I think I got the right one. Okie dokie. We're on a roll here, people. We can do this. We can do this. Do 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 do. And this is where it all comes to life. Joji said, because he has no more nights to paint. I'm sure you can get some more. Get some of the Warglaves. Get the mini knights. Get more of them. More, 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 more. Or get some big Forge World ones. We've already spoken about this. Big Forge World ones are the way to go. Awesome, 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 awesome. It's tricky getting the positioning of these things because they don't quite sit over center. It's starting to look amazing there. Guarantee you though, these things will snap. Oh, cool. That one's kind of got an angle. That's kind of cool. Kind of like a surfing thing. I like that. Right. We go. Come on. Nearly there. Nearly there. Nearly there. How many more we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I needed one more. One more. Open. One more. um yeah, Martin, the bigger knights that have just come out, they're not as big as you think. They are bigger than the normal ones you get, but I don't think they're taller than the Forge World ones. They've got a lot more guns. I got a lot more guns. I'm not even really singing a proper song there. I'm literally just making that tune up. Alright, okie dokie. One last one. These two for the sorcerers, which will get their own eventually. But for now, you can have a Zangor disc. So, just move some of the Wrathborn minis. Just line these up because this is always the cool part. You're like, okay. Right, they're not finished. They are not finished painting by a long shot. I need to do a lot of work on them, but that's a lot of fly disc action. Is it going to be enough? Maybe not. I might need more. I'll have a think on that. Right, guys, it's 20 to 10. I've waffled on long enough, so yeah. I shall leave you with some peace and quiet now, instead of listening to me waffle on and make up tunes that don't really make any kind of sense. And hopefully I shall catch you all tomorrow as we're doing Chill and Wargamers. They'll be on the Chill and Wargamers channel, not this one, so head over that way. We're doing it at 8 p.m. And me and Spud will be just waffling on about whatever we feel like. So we'll see what happens. And then I don't know what happens next. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. It's been awesome having you along, and hopefully I shall catch you next time. See you later. Be good, everyone. See you later. Bye bye.